Greetings, one and all. Another edition of Gurdjieff Ponderings with me, and it's been an interesting week. Many of us are seeing war, fighting, killing, assassinations, all kinds of crazy things are going on in the lunatic asylum. It's like everything's upped its ante more than usual. Yet at the same time we must think about peace and harmony. I actually did a walk on Michaelmas around London and ended up at a statue of peace, this beautiful woman figurine with her hand raised in the peace sign, and I caught it with the sun quite a few times, which was just lovely to have wandered round, and a few of us stood there sending peace out to the world, which is something we should all be doing in these crazy times. And I wanted to start with reading a little bit from Beelzebub's Tales, page 53, obviously written by Gurdjieff. Although the solar system ores had been neglected owing to its remoteness from the centre, and to many other reasons, nevertheless our Lord Sovereign had sent from time to time his messengers to the planets of this system, to regulate more or less the being existence of the free-brained beings arising on them, for the coordination of the process of their existence with the general world harmony. End quote. Not much general world harmony seems to be going on if you watch all the mainstream media. But then we must remember what kind of world harmony is going on around ourselves, and what kind of harmony we creating that will ripple out to affect other people around us, so that we can have harmony in our close-up environment, which hopefully would spread out to the rest of the world. And I've done shows before about prayers. Prayers are very important. We can pray up to our Lord Sovereign and ask for him to send down his angels of peace. We ourselves can become emissaries of peace, but it can be quite difficult. We can be easily riled, easily rise up to people's, well, things happening to us from other people. And also with what we see on the news, can annoy us, raise our temperatures, as they say, make us hot-headed, when we need to be cool, calm and collected. We're having all our buttons pressed, or as Gurdjieff would say, our corns trodden on. So, of course, in this quote he's talking about the solar system ores, which is our solar system. And I've recently done a load of programs or shows on angels and the archangelic hierarchy. I did one with Patrick Dixon on Rudolf Steiner's archangelic hierarchy, and I did one on Gurdjieff's angelic angels that help with the running of this system. And I've had loads of people get in touch about this AI Atlas that's coming. I have no idea what it is. It does seem all very strange, though, what it is and how it's coming and its trajectory and how big it is, and that it's emitting some kind of light. Is it angels coming on a special ship? Is it aliens coming on a special ship? Is it the Anunnaki coming on a special ship? Could it just be an asteroid going through the universe? Though that seems unlikely at the moment from what I am reading about it and trying to follow of it. But whatever it is, it's coming. So, this is a great time to be working upon yourselves, ready for whatever is going to happen. We need to be centered and fully harmonized. Gurdjieff talks about how his endlessness, the Lord Sovereign, often sent messengers from the Sun Absolute, the heavens where his endlessness lived, which is Gurdjieff's name for the divine. One of them being Ashiata Shirmash, whom he talks about in the next sentence. And thus to a certain planet of this solar system, namely the planet Earth, there was once sent as such a messenger from our endlessness, a certain Ashiata Shirmash, and as Beelzebub had then fulfilled a certain need in connection with his mission, the said messenger, when he returned once more to the Sun Absolute, earnestly besought his endlessness to pardon this once young and fiery but now aged Beelzebub. End quote. Which is what this book continues to go on about. Obviously, I hope you've all read all and everything. Well, one of the important things here, of course, is the messengers sent from his endlessness, and he sends many throughout humanity's existence. Maybe there's more coming now on AI Atlas or whatever it is. But Ashiata Shirmash was putting forward how we could exist in a more harmonious way, and I've done various shows on that as well, and talked with Josh on various shows about who Ashiata Shirmash was, so please look back through the videos and try and find them. But I know many people are waiting for a messenger from above, when really we should be working upon ourselves so that we can reach out to the higher version of ourselves. I just wanted to remind everyone, Ashiata Shirmash. Shirmash was the sun god in the, now was it the Sumerian or the Iranian? I can't remember, but it was one of them gods was the sun god, Shirmash or Shamash. And I'm sure he's putting together words, mashing up words, to remind us that we should be working towards the sun gods. We want to enlighten the sun in our hearts, as Gurdjieff himself said. He came to sell solar power. We should be working towards the sun, not the moon. Though the moon obviously reflects the sun most of the time. Obviously, there's a couple of days of darkness when it's no moon, before it becomes new moon, that little crescent in the sky that has the sun reflecting back towards us. But he goes on to talk about in the next bit about how Ashiata Shirmash was asking the maker creator, the divine source, to pardon Beelzebub. And this is something we have to all work with. Pardoning people, excusing people for their actions. Try not to react to them. Forgiveness is an all-important part of this journey, but it is difficult because there are some things that are really hard to forgive. Though, Gurdjieff says the main law by God is God forgives everything. This has even become a law in the world. So since it is a law in the world, we need to learn to be able to forgive people, even when they are not sorry for what they have done. You know, there's kind of bit of karma going on there. It can be quite harsh. It's hard work to forgive someone who can't stop treading on our corns. But our corns can easily be trodden on because, as Gurdjieff says on page 6 of All and Everything, the trouble with you is that while still in childhood, there was implanted in you and has now become ideally well harmonized with your psyche an excellently working automatism. And that's right, isn't it? We all became automatic, automatons, robots. And his work is all about trying to wake us up. And I've said before, and I'm going to say it again, but reading Beelzebub's tales to his grandson helps to break all that programming that has been put into us since we were a child, you know, that was implanted in us, as he's just said in that quote. Beelzebub's tales, if you read it from cover to cover, helps break the programming so that you start seeing things for what they really are and can start working upon yourself and seeing how your different centers are out of alignment, and you're going to try and bring them back into alignment and harmonize yourself so that you are more in tune with the higher hierarchies and the divine source and the whole harmonious running of the planet. We should be reconciling all our various parts to become more harmonious within ourselves so that we can be a more harmonious person, which is obviously needs working on. We need to reflect on what we're doing, pondering on what's going on in our lives and in the outside world, but mainly pondering on who we are inside. Stop looking at all our, well, be aware of all our suffering and what's going on and how we can, I suppose, in a way, spiritualize ourselves is the only word that's coming to mind straight away. We need to spiritualize all our parts and take them out of the mechanical, and as I was saying, reach for our higher selves. I know Gurdjieff talks a lot about our arising. Are you arising? Are you working on your arising? Are you striving to reach upwards to the higher hierarchies so that you can be part of the workings of how this universe works? Or are you being all mechanical and atomic? I can't even say it now. Autonomical and automation, and just following along what, you know, we go about in our sleepy days, that when we're not awake properly. You know, that sleep that's referred to as a being state where we're really quite unconscious, even though we think we are actually conscious. It's kind of like a passive state. We just roll along with what's going on. But as Gurdjieff says, if they sleep well, they will also be awake well. So, you know, if you can sleep well, you can put just as much effort into waking up. And once we start waking up, we can become aware of what we're doing and who we are. And then we can work towards that duty that Gurdjieff talks about, genuine being duty, becoming aware of the genuine corresponding place for ourselves in this common cosmic world, universe. And I've done shows on the gradations of reason that he talks about. Okay, again, I'm talking about past shows, but you can always look back through the back catalogue. I've got lots of shows on Gurdjieff. You know, we're all working towards waking up. We don't want to be living mechanical puppets, which is what automatons are. Though I do love a puppet. I like to play with puppets. I made a lot of shows with puppets, so do check them out as well. But we don't want to be a mechanical puppet. We want to be an awakened, living human being. And part of all this Gurdjieff work is that we're transforming ourselves, transforming the substances within ourselves, so that we can be, it's like an alchemical reaction. We will go from being a black and white being to being a multicoloured being that will hopefully turn into a golden ray of sunlight, if you work on yourself. And you must have an attraction for this, because otherwise you wouldn't be watching my shows. You must be attracted to this work. There must be something in you, a spark that wants to wake up. And I'm sure many of you are waking up. Many of us are waking up. We want to get fully awake. That takes hard work. But we're doing it. But don't be too hard on yourself. We all had the possibility of doing this. We all had the possibility to work upon ourselves. And Gurdjieff says on page 245, you, having the possibility of acquiring in yourselves both chief fundamental, universal, sacred laws, have the full possibility also of coating yourselves with this most sacred part of the great all-embracing of everything existing, and of perfecting it by the required divine reason. And this great all-embracing of all that is embraced is called holy prana, something we can work upon ourselves. And he talks about how one of the messengers he sent, which was Saint Buddha, I believe it was, is part of when he's talking about that. But we have that possibility, something we should be working within ourselves to reach our higher being states, pull ourselves out of the mechanical and into the fully working. Gurdjieff gives us exercises to decrystallize all that programming that's in us. And then we need to recrystallize ourselves in the faith, hope, love, and conscience elements within us. Crystal clear. But he does say it takes hard work. Breaking down all that old ways of being and then rebuilding ourselves. It's not easy, but it's worth it. You know it is. We should be leading a worthy and responsible existence. And I think I'll leave it at that and just ask everyone to keep working on themselves as I keep working on myself. And remember that many things are out there to distract us, many different strange, crazy world laws. Remember, Earth is under a lot of laws, and the more we wake up, the less laws we're falling under. So I'd like to thank you all for listening. My books are still available, and I'm going to just mention one of them now, which is called Exercising Witches, which is all about forgiveness. And I love the story. It's all about a priest that can see the demons that terrorize people, but how he works with them and helps transform them, which is something we should be doing on ourselves. I think it's quite a unique book. Nobody else has written anything like it, but it's out there now. Exercising Witches and many other books that I have are available. But love and peace to one and all. Until next time.